Good evening, everyone. My name is Shaniqua Cannon, and today I will present my fifth speech, which is about body language. Before we begin, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. During the summers when I was in school, when I was out of school, during the summers, I spent my life three ways. Either I was outside playing, making up stories for everyone to engage in, or I was lost in the world of books, or I was rooted before my television watching cartoons. Now that I'm a teacher and I still have summers off, I find myself doing a little of the same things. I make up stories and games for my children, and I still get lost in the world of books. It is quite a nice break from essays. And three, I still watch cartoons. In fact, just recently, I have watched Phineas and Ferb, which is a new cartoon on Disney, and I've gleaned a lot of lessons off of that. However, the one that I love most is Spongebob. Now, Spongebob, on the surface, seems like a very superficial cartoon, but it goes a lot deeper than that. So if you would allow me to please analyze Spongebob as a life coach. First of all, Spongebob teaches us a lot about what he calls imagination. If you could imagine the rainbow with me as I create that. Imagination. Now, he is lost in a refrigerator box. It's empty. There's no refrigerator because his neighbor, who I call society, has thrown out the box and placed in his house a new refrigerator. Spongebob asked for the box, and in doing so, he began a game of imagination with his neighbor, Patrick Starfish. So they're making a whole lot of noise, which draws Squidward out, and Squidward knocks on the box, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And they're going, "We're fighting Star Wars," or "We're racing a car," and you just hear all this noise coming out of there. And when Squidward opens the box, there's nothing but Patrick and Spongebob. And Spongebob tells him, "Squidward, use your imagination." That's one instance. The second instance is when Spongebob is making bubbles. Again, Squidward, representative of society, is telling Spongebob how to make bubbles. Squidward considers himself the connoisseur of bubbles. He knows how to make them, and Spongebob knows diddly squat. But Spongebob does his bubbles a certain way. He holds the canister, and then he does this funny little dance where he brings it around town. Bring it around town. And then he does some squiddly-doo, and then he dips in his wand, and he blows out one perfect bubble. Squidward is a little upset by that. I mean, it's a lot of work just to get one little bubble. So he tries every other thing, and he produces nothing but little spittle through his wand. And he goes, "Okay, Spongebob, show me." And Spongebob shows him again. He holds his canister, and he does something really funky, and then he brings it around town, and around town. And then he does the squiddly-doo, dip in his wand, pulls it out, and blows out again. One perfect bubble. That's instance 2. Instance 3. It seems like it's nothing, but in every SpongeBob episode, nearly every SpongeBob episode, he is excited about going to work. He puts on his clothes, he feeds his pet snail, who happens to meow, and he gets up and he goes, "I'm ready!" And off he runs to work, excited to begin his day of work. Now, I watched this cartoon and I said, what does this say about life? So I looked at imagination, and I thought about my own life. It seems kind of stagnant. It seems like I'm not going enough places or living up to my potential. However, if I flex that thing that is deep within, if I flex my imagination, I'll be able to find a way, one, to utilize my full potential, and two, to realize that my life really isn't as stagnant as it appears. I am, after all, affecting females' lives every day in my classroom, my co-workers' lives, my best friends' lives, my family's life. So if I use that imagination, if I flex it, I'll be able to see what other people can't see. And in seeing that, I'll be able to do what other people can't do. So then I looked at the bubble exercise, and I hold that canister in my own hand, and I think about the ways that I try to do things that other people say, no, that is not the way. And no matter how much I squiddly-dee and bring it around town, I still blow and get the spittle that Squidward gets. And I have to go, why? What's the difference between SpongeBob and I? The difference between SpongeBob is he doesn't care what Squidward thinks. He's trying to show Squidward there is another way to do things. And I'm so busy trying to make people fit in my way while trying to fit in theirs that all I end up with is this spittle. When all I really want is this perfectly round one bubble. I don't have to do a million things. I can do just that one thing, and I could actually bring it around town into my own life. So then I look at that third thing. Going to work with zeal. Being happy. That was a lesson that took me many years to learn. I hated teaching from the very first, all the way up until the very 5th year. Usually they say you get over it about the third year. No, to the 5th. And then last year when I had to fight for my job, I realized I actually like my job. I like where I am. And now I go to work every day with almost SpongeBob-like zeal. I'm not exactly at his level. I don't get out of bed at 5:30 going, I'm ready! No. No. I don't get that way until it's 7:10 and I'm walking through that door. But when I look over those SpongeBob lessons and I see how they apply to life, I understand what other parents don't. Cartoons are very intelligent, and cartoons are very worthy of our children's attention. So I beg of you to continue letting your children watch cartoons and sit there and watch them with them.